Everybody's surprised.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Moines County Board of Supervisors meeting, last day of May 2022, 31st. Are there any changes to the agenda?
Right. I have one. We'll remove the item F, accounts payable claims. 31 days in May.
Okay.
I didn't notice that when you sent it out.
Okay.
We'll meet with department heads and elected officials. Sheriff Clint Denny was in here first, and he's got a Zoom meeting on this new radio system we're putting into the jail, so he won't be here, but he said he's 66 in the jail. And he said his school resource officers, school's out, so they're helping fill him in for vacation. And one of them's up in the courtroom for the trials and everything. But then outside of that, everything else is good.
County attorney was here, she'd tell you that's hearsay.
Sarah Doty, accounts payroll auditor's office.
Just keeping busy as usual. It's payroll week, so
Okay,
nothing
thank
new to
you.
report this time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Colin Hurst, IT.
Going good, just keeping busy like always, nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Rodney Blazer, how's things going besides filling coffee?
Pretty good, keeping busy. Update on the front steps. We fired up the hydronic snow part of it on Friday. Everything seemed to be fine, so they were gonna finish up some cosmetic stuff, some grout around the bottom of the handrail, some caulking along the edges. They were gonna try and finish that up this morning, but with the rain in the area, they're gonna push that off till tomorrow. So hoping by Thursday to get the front steps started. So that's kind of the plan, pending on how that goes and the weather behaves. So. But we're on the downhill slide, we're almost finished.
Good, that's good to hear.
Other
Be
than that,
ready.
nothing else new to report.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Zach James, regional planning.
Yeah, good morning. Things have been going pretty well. I think it seems like they calmed down at least a little bit the last few weeks. It was kind of hectic there earlier in the spring, but not a whole lot new to report. Got an agenda item on the rezoning and got a full subdivision possibly here in the next few weeks potentially. And other than that, just taking phone calls.
Okay, thanks, Zach.
Jared,
Jared, last?
anything else?
Nothing to add.
Nothing to add? Okay. Chris Lee, conservation.
Good morning. Had a good busy weekend with everything went well. We're gearing up for the youth jamboree on Saturday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Big Hollow. So we'll be busy this week getting everything prepped for that.
Thank you. Janelle, how's the appraiser's office?
We're keeping busy. We do have the tax sale list scheduled to publish in Thursday's paper, Hawkeye. So, other than that, keeping busy.
Thanks, Janelle. Ken Hyman, Seal Agent.
Good morning. Yeah, we're keeping busy also. This is claims week for the region, and so busy week before governing board next week. Nothing else really to report right now.
Okay, thanks, Ken. Brian Carter, secondary roads.
Good morning. Upper Flint's still closed, obviously. Contractors made good headway. A little slower with the rain last week, but I'm sure they're back at it. So that's moving on. I haven't heard an update, but maybe start doing some concrete work maybe in a couple weeks. Pleasant Grove is still closed. Should be out, hopefully doing some dirt work today, although I haven't been up there obviously. So that should open this week, I would think. I know they're talking some rain today. I don't know if that will delay that just a little bit, but I would think there'd be enough gaps they had a little dirt work to finish up. They had to tie the dirt, the four slopes into the shoulders, and so that's why the rain last week delayed everything. It's just can't do that in the mud. So that's coming along good, and I would think this week would at least get it open. Dust control contractor should be in tomorrow or Thursday. Get started on the counties, and while they're in between that, they go ahead and do all of the other spots that they have. So hopefully by the end of the week, that'll get buttoned up. Just depends on when they actually show and progress. New employee starts today. Have that personnel action on there. And I would mention that down in the Danville area, they had the extreme misfortune, I guess would be a better way to put that, of being in the wrong spot, the wrong time last Thursday evening, when I thought we were all past the rain and everything else. All of a sudden it blew back up and just kind of spun. And boy, you go through Danville and to the southwest, and it's not a big area, but in that little 3 or 4 hour window, they had anywhere from, there's been 3 inches all the way up to 7 inches of rain, and it was a mess. Roosevelt took the worst of it, the gravel portion of Roosevelt. It was over there at least 3 different places. 2 of them were pretty long stretches where it took the shoulder, so the guys were out getting that dealt with on Thursday. And yeah, the rest of the county, actually my place almost was dry through all of that, but just spotty and a strange pop-up deal, but it made a mess down in that area. Yeah, other than that, plenty of stuff going on, but that's the main part of it.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Angie Vaughn?
Good morning. I actually had last week off, took a vacation, but was quite busy with work, so it ended up being a working vacation. So that's never ever a good sign. But we're getting all those ends pulled back together, and I'll be busy the next couple of days getting everything finished up and finalized, so.
Have you filled that report out for pulling your shoulder out of place this morning yet?
No, I'll never do a report on myself.
She caught her purse on that.
See, I spilled my
And,
coffee first thing this morning too, Tom, so don't feel bad.
So you got company, Thomas.
Hey, it is, isn't it?
Thanks, Angie. Terry, how's the auditor's office?
Hi, Jim. Everything's going along well. 1 week from today is the primary election. Absentee voting in person is still going on in the office. It will through Monday at 5 o'clock. During this week, it's 8 to 4:30. We are open Saturday from 8 to 4 for absentee voting. Tomorrow is the public test of the election equipment. And then so far, we have sent out 368 absentee ballots, and we have 252 that we've received. So compared to what it was 2 years ago, that's quite small, but we didn't have the mass mailings and everything, so not everybody's sending that stuff in. So anyway, we just keep plugging away and looking forward to the election next week, so.
There you go. Thanks, Terry.
Thanks.
Chris Miller, how's the public health?
Doing well. We're keeping busy. Really don't have anything new to report, but we do have an agenda item.
Have you heard any more on that monkeypox that they're talking about?
Have not. We sent out some communication to the healthcare providers in the area, the clinics, having them be on lookout for rashes and symptoms, but we're monitoring, and at this point, we've not heard anything back as far as anyone seeing anything suspicious or of concern.
Okay, thank you, Krista.
Wow.
Moving on to, changes to the 10th agenda, we've already done that, but department heads, correspondence,
I have none.
I have none. So we shall move on to discussion and vote. Okay, we have a public hearing for the amendment for the zoning ordinance number 34 and the official zoning map.
I move to open second public hearing.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yep.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Okay, this is, Jared, you wanna go over this
What we
again?
had our first public hearing on last week. This is for the proposed rezoning of a property about 12 acres on Sullivan Slough Road from the current R1 residential to C1 general commercial. And this is to address the matter of what was formerly a legal non-conforming use in the R1 district, the Young House Family Services Woodlands Treatment Center, which is a residential treatment facility for youth, which ceased operations in 2014, and therefore the non-conforming status has since lapsed in accordance with the ordinance, zoning ordinance, which says that anything that's ceases for more than a year has to either conform to the district regulations from then on, or pursue a rezoning in order to allow for something that wouldn't be allowed ordinarily in the R1 district. So, as we said before, that we had a public hearing with the zoning commission several weeks ago now. There were some concerns from neighboring property owners regarding the prior use of the facility by Young House, and concerns about runaways and issues related to that on the facility. But as we said before, there was a lengthy discussion about that, and overall, the other concern that came up was the possibility of what other commercial uses would be allowed if that facility were to be closed and sold in the future. And so ultimately, the compromise that seemed amenable to the neighboring property owners and to the commission in that context would be to have a conditional rezoning where it would be rezoned to C1, but add conditions that apart from any further review and action by the supervisors at a later date, this rezoning would only allow the specific category of use that Young House facility falls into as a permitted use. And so that's the only use then that would be allowed through administrative approval, again, apart from any further action by at least what would ordinarily be allowed in the C1 district. So we have those conditions, and I should note that we structured it today in accordance with there's some specific language in state code about if there are going to be conditions attached to a rezoning of property, that the applicant, property owner, and the supervisors need to sign an agreement attesting to those conditions specifically prior to the close of the final public hearing on the matter. And so that needs to be signed prior to the close of the hearing. And we figured it would, based on experience with another county we had consulted with, that that's typically handled at the last public hearing, just in case any other hesitancy or any comments that the board that would come in prior to that. And so if the board then opts to waive the third public hearing, then those conditions would need to be agreed to now prior to the close of the hearing, and then vote. So any questions about this proposed rezoning or the specific use of the land? Now's the time.
I think that this has to be approved prior to the final public hearing. The final public hearing is started. We would have to close that public hearing to vote on that. So I suspect we're gonna have a third public hearing. I'm just saying that resolution approving those conditions is item B on this agenda, and item A is the public hearing. And to do item B, we have to close the public hearing you just described.
Well,
Then it would be closed.
we specifically set it up. I don't know.
I think we have a third public hearing, otherwise, if it has to be done before this public hearing is closed, we cannot vote on that. We can't vote on that resolution during that public hearing. At least not in my experience. You don't vote on anything until the public hearing's closed.
Well, that's what we had heard from the other county, that was their experience with that. So if you don't feel comfortable doing that, that's up to you. But that's how we had planned on it. I'm sorry if that was.
You're in the wrong order,
clear.
that's fine, but I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think we'd have to close the public hearing to vote on that.
Okay.
Not the end of the world.
I don't know, this was just another week.
Well, I've received no emails or no phone calls. I was expecting one or two, but I got nothing.
I haven't either.
I haven't either.
Is there any, let's go into public comments on this. Anybody in here have anything to say about it? If any of the public has anything to say about it, they can email the board. We'll give you 2 minutes, board@dmcounty.com, or you can call 319-753-8203. We'll give you 2 minutes to do that. And we can have a little discussion here while we're doing that, so.
Let's talk about Tom spilling his coffee. I think we need an explanation for that.
Naturally messy, that's what I've been told repeatedly.
At least it was coffee.
At least it was coffee. Maintenance is ever ready.
So we're gonna have to have a third public hearing next week.
I've never seen a public hearing where you vote on a separate.
I know, I think the logic, because conceivably that those conditions could be agreed to any time before the close of the public hearing,
Well,
which could have been.
the public hearing's open. If that was the first on the, agenda, it wouldn't have been a
I'm sorry if that
problem.
wasn't clear beforehand.
Terry?
I'm confused, because you don't ever vote on anything at a public hearing.
No, we close the
It's
public hearing and then we vote on
So,
it.
and that's what Henry County does, is they vote on that before they close the public hearing.
That's what I had understood, maybe I was wrong.
Because I would think it would have to be
know it
afterwards,
would have
because
to
you
be.
don't vote on anything during a public
Okay.
hearing. So,
Maybe it was just at the same meeting, but before.
I would say it's the same meeting, and
If the order was switched and we wouldn't have opened this public hearing, or even if we were aware that that had to be done first, we could have changed the agenda.
All right, that's just.
No, I was just gonna say, we'll double check the wording in state code too, just see what
Okay.
it says, cause I'd look it up, but I don't have my phone with me. so.
Again, I know
Not a big
it says
deal.
before the
But yeah,
close of the
it was-
public hearing, but that's taking it very literally, so again, it could have been right, yeah.
and the guys never vote on anything during a public hearing. It's always just for discussion and everything else, and then afterwards is when.
I'm confident that Jared can give us a 30-second recap of that
See
amendment,
meeting minutes from last week.
so we can roll through the next public hearing. Yeah, see meeting.
Okay, 2 minutes is up, nobody's called.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker?
Yes.
Shane McCampbell?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yes. So,
Motion to approve the second hearing for the amendment to the for amendment to zoning ordinance 34.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker?
Yes.
Shane McCampbell?
Yes.
Jim Carrey?
Yes. You gotta sign
Now until after the third reading. This is the resolution Jared was talking about.
that. That's the resolution here.
Motion to approve the resolution approving the conditions in the rezoning request.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker?
Yes.
Shane McCampbell?
Yep.
Jim Carrey?
Yes. Okay, moving on.
We would just need to get the applicant to sign that while he's here as well, so.
You say what you're.
That the applicant.
You'll have to sign it
You'll have to
before.
sign that, it's an agreement with supervisors and.
Moving on to the 2080 agreement for funding and general assistance. This agreement herein is made and entered into pursuant to the Iowa Code, Chapter 180, to be effective on a date herein provided by between the Moines County, Iowa organization and existing under the laws of the state of Iowa, hereafter County of Southeast Iowa Community Action and nonprofit corporation herein agency, collective reference to as the parties. The agreement shall not create a separate entity. Whereas the agency is a private agency and defined in Iowa Code Section 28E.2 and is nonprofit corporation duly formed and existing pursuant to the laws of the state of Iowa. And whereas the county is a political subdivision duly formed existing pursuant to the Iowa State Code as a public agency as defined in Iowa Code Chapter 28E. And whereas Iowa Code 28E authorizes public agencies to enter into agreements for joint corporation, cooperative action, and with public and private entities, and whereas the agency and the county have determined it to be the best interest of the respective parties to enter into a 28 agreement, coordinate efforts to serve low-income individuals and families in Moines County, Iowa, and whereas the parties believe it is their best interest to enter into a written agreement setting forth their respective rights and obligations with regard to this agreement. Now therefore, be in consideration of mutual promises and agreements herein contained, and upon the following terms and conditions, the agency and the county agree as follows. So this is where our community action, which Shane's on the board, they're going to, county, we're going to, they're going to take over our services that we previously had. Does anybody have any questions on this, or do you want me to read this further? Andrew shaking your
I
head no.
don't see any hands shooting up.
I just wanted to add that it's a typical 2080, and everybody has to have an agreement, and there's not the, it's just basically saying that we're in contract together and doing the basics, but, yeah, somebody asked me about that. It wasn't anything special. It's entering into a 2080. That's what we gotta do.
Motion to approve the 2080 for the general assistance.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker?
Yes.
Shane McCampbell?
Yep.
Jim Carrey?
Yes. Moving on to 5D, we have a resolution 2022-039, establishing an administration for the general program. Wait a minute, 28, or for Russ, we just did that for the Russ Environmental Health Service coverage.
This is for general
This is the
assistance.
resolution for general assistance.
Yeah.
We just did 2080. Now we're doing the resolution.
I move to approve the resolution for establishing administration for the general.
Second.
Too many resolutions here.
We roll into each other sometimes.
Sarah?
Tom Broker?
Yes.
Shane McCampbell?
Yes, please.
Jim Carrey?
Yes.
You know, if I might just say something about the general assistance program. I know Brooke was asking if she should notify the funeral homes and the food cupboards that general assistance is switching once these, I said, better wait till these agreements get signed by both parties, but then we'll probably want to notify them.
Yeah, and let them know it's effective July 1st.
July 1st, yeah. Yep, okay.
And she's She's assisting as needed till the 1st of July, right?
Right, we'll continue till through June 30th, we'll continue to see people for general assistance. And then it starts July 1st, community action will. Yeah. Anytime somebody comes in, we'll just refer them on to community action then after that.
Okay, 2080 agreement with Russ for environmental health service coverage. This is another 2080 agreement, provide environmental health services for Moines County pursuant to the Iowa Code Chapter 2088. Each entity shall pass by majority vote and resolution approving this agreement. The purpose of the agreement is to establish a working mechanism among the participating entities and to the environmental health specialist, the EHS, for the Moines County, who can make decisions and answer questions with regards to environmental health situations. The agreement does not contemplate and shall not be construed to limit or expand the powers of the participating entities, except as expressed stated in the agreement. Now, Krista, you're for this, right?
I am. We've been using Russ as a subcontract for the last year. This is just a new 2080 agreement. They're taking on a few more of our services. They've done a great job for us. They do our well permitting, do all of our inspections. Like I said, they've done a really good job. So yes, I do recommend that we continue to use them.
What's your wish, gentlemen?
Motion to approve 2080.
Second?
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Do I notice the difference when she says the names though? I'm just, Tom Broker, Shane McCampbell, Jim Carrey. Reason to be like that.
They've taken it personally, Shane.
There's-
Right.
There's a note of sympathy in her voice.
No.
Talks to me.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell.
Mr. Carey.
We have payroll reimbursements, claims in the amount of $180.93 and non-cash taxable $71.08.
Move to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes, thank you.
Tom Broker,
Yes?
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Next, we have the appointment, the ICAP insurance agent representative.
You guys will remember the work session we had 2 or 3 weeks ago with the Worth Agency, and it's at First Main Street.
Correct.
That we will still have ICAP for an insurance company or loss pool, but we'll get extra services. We'll get a loss history retention analysis, budget preparation assistance, quarterly claims review, that sort of thing, which we've been struggling with for the last few years. And so this has to go through the board. It's a letter to ICAP appointing a new insurance agent or representative for Des Moines County.
I move to approve.
Second?
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Don't stand closed, Jim. Oh,
What's that?
Never mind, never mind.
So close.
We have personnel action. We have 2 of them for the secondary roads. We'll do both of these at once. First one is Evan Walker, retirement. Thank you for the service that you give us. And that effective on 5/25, so he is retired and enjoying life, isn't he?
I assume so, I haven't spoken to him since.
That's you, are you taking that person?
Are you the reason he retired?
No, he gave many years to the county, I appreciate them all, and glad that he gets to take advantage of retirement.
Yeah, good. The second one is for Jared Johnson, maintenance worker and truck driver. He's a new hire, effective today, on 5/31/22. His rate is $21.27 an hour.
Move to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes.
Thank you.
Notice the way she said Shane McCandle that one.
She's trying, she's trying.
We have reports for the Iowa and Middletown Railway LLC abandonment exemption. So it will be on file in the auditor's office for, excuse me, for your reading at your discretion. This is the railroad that they abandoned out in that ordinance plan section of rail. We have the minutes for the regular meeting on May the 24th, 2022.
Move to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker.
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Is there any other business?
I have none.
I have none.
I have none. Future agenda items?
Let me ask a question I probably should have asked earlier, and I know you guys will start. Have you started anything on a solar or wind?
No, we have not.
Okay. I looked, maybe we could get started on that
Yeah.
sooner rather than later.
I'll make a note on that.
Okay, thank you.
Something else kind of slipped my mind.
Committee reports.
I have none.
I have none.
I had Southeast Iowa Regional Planning meeting. Everything went pretty smooth out there. They took a tour of the new bus barn that they built for the C buses out back.
They didn't give you Memorial Week off?
No,
You guys are
Zach's a
tough.
hard worker.
We never quit, Tom.
Exact rules.
We did have good pizza for lunch though.
I never give any of the boards or commissions or anything where they serve anything to eat.
Because you
Well,
didn't
you're on
take,
the wrong board.
that's because he didn't take any of Cahill's.
Yeah.
Okay, public input. Anybody from the public has anything to say? We'll give you 2 minutes. You can call 319-753-8203, extension 4, or email board@dmcounty.com. We'll give you 2 minutes to do that.
Anybody I talk to before it happens to me,
Jared,
huh?
talking to Jared.
I'm not talking to Jerry. But that was a nice move, though, I
I
like
was
that.
trying.
Mr. Curry, you won't be here next week, will you?
I will be here next week.
Next week.
Yep. I will
I'm
not
off
be
next
here
week.
You're off next week?
I'm off vacation next week. I forgot to say that in the report.
I'm gonna be on vacation next week, so you guys get a break from me. Mr. Shane McCampbell.
Hey, but you can catch
Shane
him.
McCampbell.
He'll be live on TV. He'll be stripping again down in Missouri. He's got a new outfit and all that stuff.
Somebody.
Shane, you have certainly brought a level of decorum to these
They
meetings.
used to call, well, you know, I am a minister. They used to call him Sparkle back in the 70s.
Oh, boy.
Love you, bud.
My skinny day difference are over. This is a long 2 minutes now.
Let's say your face got a little red, Jim.
What is it? I thought it was cold in here. Oh, nobody's calling in, so they've only got 40 seconds left. Somebody
He's trying to
say
get us out of here
something.
quick, isn't he?
Shane, I love you to death.
When they start like that, that means something bad's coming.
Are we having a work session next week on the handbook, or is that getting put off until more people are here? I saw the email come around,
Well,
I just wanted to ask the
I
question.
think we still wanna have it, and then we'll have one again the following week, just so that people that can't make it for this next week will hopefully be there the following week.
Well, I mean, cause I haven't sat down side by side with the current handbook and the new one and gone line by line, so
And-
that's a big task.
And everything that's redlined in there is all the changes that we requested, and if you wanna see the notes.
I haven't even opened it, so I'll
Okay.
see all that, so.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna have time to do that while you're
The
recuperating.
red line makes it easy though, man. You get through a whole lot quicker. I like when they do that.
Yes, it does help.
Okay, the 2 minutes is up. With an aye, we're out of here.
All right.
Aye.
Aye. We do have a work session the following meeting with the county engineer.
Welcome and congratulations.
Then I tell them, I'm going to Florida, you might be stripping on the TV.
What?
Yeah.